Hey there, this is Nathan and welcome to day number 72 of the Sonnet Challenge. Remember, you can go to sonnetchallenge.blogspot.com for all the sonnets we've done up to this point. And for day number 72, we have sonnet number 84 and a bit of thunder. I am here in Chicago, Illinois, and there have been quite some storms here, and I don't know if I've ever heard thunder quite like this. It's pretty spectacular. So it sounds like we'll have a little bit of that for today's sonnet as well. So sonnet 84 is described as it's very ambiguous, complex, opaque, and elusive, especially at the beginning in terms of who's being addressed, who's being talked to, different ways you can interpret the lines in terms of, depending on where you put punctuation or question marks. But this poet really investigates the reality of all comparisons. Essentially, all language is useless, and what's the good of asserting that you are you in terms of the youth? What's the point? And how could language itself do anything but provide an empty shell as an example of the thing itself? So we're looking at rival poets providing praise of the youth, and the poet in this case is saying, what's the good of that? What's the point of that? So there's a lot in here, and there's a lot of different ways you can interpret it. I found some notes that made some sense to me. We'll try it out. So without further ado, why don't we give sonnet number 84 a shot. Who is it that says most, which can say more than this rich praise that you alone are you, in whose confine immured is the store which should example where your equal grew? Lean penury within that pen doth dwell, that to his subject lends not some small glory, but he that writes of you, if he can tell that you are you, so dignifies his story. Let him but copy what in you is writ, not making worse what nature made so clear, and such a counterpart shall fame his wit, making his style admired everywhere. You to your beauteous blessings add a curse, being fond on praise, which makes your praises worse. So, I really enjoyed working on this sonnet, and I will admit that there's still a lot of it that I'm working through and looking to make clearer, but hopefully some of the sonnet came through. I'll just add a couple notes here. The conclusion is pretty much that all poetry in this context is worthless, especially that of the rival poets who flatter to deceive. Now the youth is brought in to undermine the conclusion. Perhaps he's not the perfect example described in the beginning of the sonnet, lines 1 through 4. For the youth has a sickly interest in this false praise, and this flaw makes it worse because the more he welcomes the praise, the more is generated and thrown upon him. So yeah, just really, really interesting. And those first 4 lines, there is no definitive exam or definition of what they mean, what they're directed at, and it's really up to interpretation. So that to me is very cool, but I really enjoyed working on this sonnet. I would love to hear what you think about sonnet number 84. What did you like? What did you not? What did you understand? What did you not? And then feel free to take sonnet number 84 and make it yours. Have a blast. I hope you're doing well. Remember, sonnetchallenge.blogspot.com, and until next time.